we have now finished the pre-practice one for round two here at the Sebring International Raceway and are now on at qualifying. So we are going to be having a good look as to who are the drivers who can come out on top. Right now we are watching Chetan Surineni unless the game decides to switch me to another driver. I'm just gonna remove that and bring you guys new updated uh, graphics for you guys to watch at. And we have a live timing system now, which is right on the bottom right of your screen right now, and the gray bit is where your lives the live timing for the current driver will be coming into play, and that will be a much better thing for you guys to see. But we do have right now Sai Sanjay's pole favorite, as he was 6 tenths quicker in practice session. But as we know, this is the Bespoke Racing League and anything can happen over here at any given point of time. And right now we're just on the out lap witnessing Chetan Surineni. He does have 13.5 minutes and the whole of 4 laps left for him to be able to make this race count. We do have more drivers this time. Vikash Anand is the newest driver on the grid. I believe he is the only new driver on the grid, considering Chetan Kurada did take part in a few of the rounds in the previous season. And we do have Chetan spinning just before the start of a new lap, but luckily for him, he still got one more corner before he can actually count that as a race start. So we do have the option of seeing his live speed as well on the bottom right now, which is in kilometers per hour, of course, in these Formula 3 cars. Chetan now trying to weave around and set his tires ready before he go for qualifying, as he tries to get the widest and fastest line possible for the start of a lap here around Sebring. Let's see what he can do. Him and Chetan Kurada are the only drivers who have crossed the line so far to start a new lap, but now as he goes through the first corner, keeping it clean, using all the track width, and coming down to turn 2, running quite wide, and then down towards turn 3. I don't think this is gonna be a lap that he would like to consider for the position that he would want. But coming towards the end of sector 1 now, let's see if the timer pauses. I'm not too sure. No, the timer doesn't pause to tell us his lap time, but definitely we'll have a better idea of that at the end of this lap. So now as we head towards turn number 10, definitely he is not wanting to count this track, and he would love for another track to be counted, another lap in fact to be counted. By the looks of it, Chetan Kurada is going faster on this particular lap compared to Chetan Surineni, but considering the mistakes he's made, it was kind of expected. Now as they come through the final few corners before the back straight, and he will be starting a new lap pretty soon. And there are a couple of drivers in the pits at this point of time, namely, I don't really see the name actually. Okay, I think Chetan's lost connection or something. Let's go back to Chetan, I think, and get the camera right. I don't know. I don't really know what happened there. Yeah, there it is. But now as he comes across the line, we did see a 1 minute 53 or 52 in practice. He's done a 2 minute 1.438 as his lap time. Chetan Kurada has done a 57. Koshan Kothadia has done a this one. Sai Sanjay did not have a valid lap time. Adwait Deoda right now his second lap. He's just jumping over Sai Sanjay and Adwait Deoda. I don't know what's happening. Okay, I'm just gonna adjust that as a setting. and we'll just focus on our leader. Of course, Sai Sanjay is a driver who is probably the only other one along with Saurabh Bandyopadhyay right now to be able to challenge Atharva Deota for that position. But with 9.5 minutes remaining in this session, like I said before multiple times, anything can happen right now. Atharva Deota going through the sequence of corners where one mistake could spoil the rest of that sequence, and it is a very important corner to get right, and very important to get the lap around Sebring right. It's not hard. It's very hard actually on this track to get a lap right because um, obviously we have the Sebring track being pretty long, and with these F3 cars, the bumps on this track, of course, obviously make it a lot harder for the drivers, especially if they have really good force feedback on the steering wheels. It can hit them in the arms and can eventually turn out to be very realistic in terms of the feedback that they get out of these cars on a track like this. And I'm pretty sure some of these drivers would have turned down their force feedback settings just to make sure that they could last the long races in season 3 now. But as we say that, Sai Sanjay has gone up into pole position with a 1 minute 53.3, and that is something that was kind of expected, like I said before, considering he was 6 tenths faster at the end of pre practice, and definitely something that we will not count. He has completed 2 laps. His first lap was invalidated. He is on his third lap. Saurabh Bandyopadhyay, Vishwas Vijayaraj, and Shan Ali Mohsin are also on their laps, but so far haven't been able to complete one cleanly, which explains why they do not have a lap time yet on the board. Sai Sanjay running wide again. I believe that is gonna get his lap invalidated again. So something that we would definitely want to, or he would want to look out for on the next lap, because remember these tires can evolve every lap. So with each lap passing by, they do degrade, but at the same time with the tire model that iRacing provides, they do become faster for the first couple of laps. Around like about 3 laps or 4 laps, they do become faster as they come up to temperature slowly and steadily, and as they come, you might want to make sure that your tires are up to temperature, and make sure you don't go off track. And now Saurabh Bandyopadhyay just set his lap time, his valid lap time, 1 minute 53.672, very close to the Deodar's lap, which is a 1 minute 53.651. But Sai Sanjay has taken over this session again, like last round, and has put the car on pole for now. We do have one more lap remaining for most of these drivers, and with 6 minutes more to go, I believe we should cut down the times that they're having, and we will have a better race to watch for sure after this. We did have Karthik Tarani last season. He is supposed to be joining this session. Not too sure what's held him back, and definitely if he manages to join the session, then he will be someone to watch out for. Definitely, if he joins the session now, I don't think he can put a lap time strong enough to challenge for pole with the cold tires, but he can definitely put it somewhere in the top few positions, and he should be another challenger this race goes on with him. So this is definitely something to see. We do have 9 drivers this time, highest we've had so far this season, and definitely we do have a bigger grid, and we are expecting more drivers through round 3, as there are drivers who do not have the tracks and are having issues with purchasing them during this lockdown period, and definitely something that they will look into for the forthcoming season with that. And that was a 1 minute 53.127. Like I said, the tires do degrade, but they do become faster as well. Looking at now Saurabh Bandyopadhyay, who is also on his fourth lap, pretty much just started the lap. Looking at the lap time at the bottom, with 4.5 minutes left, we do have a few more cars. We do still have Vishwas Vijayaraj and Shahan Ali Mohsin on track trying to set lap times of their own. We do have only Chetan Kurada, Adwa Dyoda, and Sai Sanjay have finished their 4 laps so far. So we do have something left in this 4 minutes, and as of latest news, Oshan Kothadia has also now finished his 4 laps. With now only 4 minutes left on the board and 1 lap left for Saurabh Bandyopadhyay. I believe there's only 1 lap left for all the drivers. At best, two depends on how late they've come out of the pits. And Vishwas Vijayaraj and Shan Ali Mosi might still have a chance to at least get a lap time. There's definitely some buffer in the grid, but we are expecting a tight battle between Aditya and Saurabh Bandyopadhyay. We did have an amazing battle between Aditya and Kartik Thirani the previous season, and definitely something that we would look forward to this time. But Kartik Thirani couldn't make it today as he had a few meetings to attend. Of course, online, maintaining social distancing. We're making sure that our drivers are at home and safe at all points of time. And I'm pretty sure they don't want to catch any sort of illness before the real life season starts, which is actually scheduled for June. But looking at the situation right now, I don't think it's going to be improving that much that fast. And looks like Saurabh Bandyopadhyay actually has one more lap left. And if I'm not wrong, Shan Ali Mohsin and Vishwas have finished their lap times, but not managed to set a clean one. Vikas Anand is also the only other driver on track. Oh, looks like Saurabh Bandyopadhyay has finished his lap. So let's move on to the next driver. That is Vikas Anand. He is on a flying lap. He is in fact about to end it as he's approaching sunset, and his lap time definitely looks like it has sort of improved. Not too sure after looking at sunset. No, it doesn't seem to have improved that much. In fact, he's gone slower than his fastest, and he has now ended. And now Vishwas Vijayaraj just set in his lap to go P6 with just 2 minutes left on the board. I think he is gonna continue on with some practice as he just ends up in a spin for now. And I believe, yeah, he has finished his 4 laps, unless he hasn't. Has he? Yeah, I think he has finished his 4 laps. Now the only driver left on track is Vikas Anand, and the rest all are in the pits waiting for qualifying to end. I believe Vikas Anand could be using his time um, in practice now, but with that latest crash, I don't think he would be able to continue anymore. But now I don't think there are any other drivers on track. So without any further ado, I think we can go across the grid order for this race. And before we do that, let's just hide some of these things. And oops, wrong. Yeah, adding so many things eventually can get a little bit confusing eventually on the buttons and stuff. But without any further ado, let's go over the grid order. We do have Sai Sanjay in P1 with a 1 minute 53.1, a staggering lap time compared to P2. Advait Deoda, 1 minute 53.651, and a very close third placed Saurabh Bandyopadhyay with a 1 minute 53.672, and we have Chetan Kurada in P4 further few seconds behind Saurabh Bandyopadhyay, and again close to Oshan Kothadia in P5 and Vishwas Vajraj in P6. Vikash Anand managing to set a decent lap time by the end of the day. I believe he's new to iRacing, so that's good to see that he can make it in P7, and Chetan Surineni in P8, and last but not least, Shan Ali Mohsin unable to set a lap time, manage gets on the grid at P9. Now, without any further ado, let's just wait on these drivers to start gridding up, and then we can get up and get ready for the race. As you guys can see, a few of the drivers have gridded, and we're just waiting on the other drivers. I shall just make sure that my yellow is planted, so in case of any incidents, I can immediately bring out the safety car if required, of course. Now, with the new rules of the safety car for the league, it states that if there are a large number of drivers taken out at the start of the race, okay, I don't know what's happened to the. Okay, I think okay we have had a small crash with the graphics, so they will be up and running in a moment's time. And in the meantime, we'll just have a look at the race as it starts now, and we're just waiting for the lights. I think I'm not too sure without the thing. I'm not too sure what's exactly going on, but by the looks of it, yeah, it's lights are and away we go, and the drivers are getting back out, and there we go. We do have this, but it's all covering our everything. It's covered everything. We can't really see everything. And there we go. Sanjay has gone side by side with Advadyada into turn one, and we do have them maintaining their positions for now. And I think there has been a crash at the back. We will come back to it in a moment after watching this battle that's going on at the front. Top four drivers very close to each other at this point of time, and Sai Sanjay going defensive into the hairpin of Adyoda on the outside. We did see Adyoda bravely keep it on the outside in the previous season, but is unable to do so this time. But and with these two drivers fighting it out this hard, we should see Saurabh Bandyopadhyay getting into the mix fairly soon. And again, Sai Sanjay has to go defensive with Adyoda again on the outside. Manages to hold him off again, but this has allowed Saurabh Bandyopadhyay to enter into Advadyoda's gearbox and enter this mix of fight. But now coming on to this mini straight, will Sai Sanjay be able to hold it? Will Advadyoda be able to put on his inside? I'm just going to bring up the top 10 because it's getting so intense. I won't have time to do it later. This 13 lap race is a long race, and these drivers need to use a little bit of their heads to make sure that they finish up with the 13 laps. But now Sai Sanjay is just trying to eke away a little bit, and Saurabh Bandyopadhyay has also fallen a bit. But then with the slipstream in this on this track and the car, anything can happen. As you guys can see, Adyoda is closing in, trying to fake out some moves. One of the cars was going a bit on the limiter, but Adyoda does run wide, almost into the back of Sai Sanjay, taking him out. But this will be something that would be very interesting to watch at this point of time. There is one car in the pits, and I can confirm that is Vikash Anand. I believe he was involved in the lap 1 incident that we saw a moment ago. And these three cars, as expected, have started to pull away a little bit, and Chetan Kurada has also entered the pits. I do not know if he has if he did make a mistake at Sunset or one of the other corners, because he was looking fairly strong on this track at the first few corners, and that will be something to watch. So with that change, we do have Sai Sanjay in P1, Advadyoda in P2, Saurabh Bandyopadhyay in P3, Chetan Surineni in P4. After that, start from P8 on the grid, and Shan Ali Mohsin in P5 from P9 on the grid. Oshan Kothadia has fallen a bit from his grid spot, so has Vishwas Vajraj, I believe, and Chetan Kurada and Vikash Anand, the two drivers in the pit. But the most latest news, Vishwas Vajraj is also in the pits, but he has used his fast repair option to get out of the pit as soon as he can. But right now, here on lap 2 of this race, we do have Sai Sanjay now pulling out that gap as expected, and Saurabh Bandyopadhyay is not as consistent as Advait Deoda has also started to fall off from Advait Deoda a bit. We'll have to keep an eye on that gap a little between Saurabh Bandyopadhyay and Advait Deoda. But there is a battle going on between Shan Ali Mohsin and Chetan Surineni. Oh, as we just look at Chetan, he has gone off spinning into the distance, and now Oshan Kotharia has also gone past it. And there was another driver at the back spinning. I don't know who that was. I'm just trying to find who that. And I believe that was Shan Ali Mohsin who did spin again at the back, and that has given Oshan Kotharia two free positions. Did these two drivers have contact is my question, because they were really close. They were within 4 tenths of each other. So if I change my camera here to rear chase, we can see that there is a lot of damage on Shan Ali Mohsin's car, which probably explains why he's got that they were in that incident. All these drivers do have one fast repair each, and as they have crossed the line, the Oshan and Chetan are very close to each other. So how about I was gonna show you guys something, but then doesn't look like it makes any sense at this point of time now. And with Oshan and Chetan now battling for P4, Chetan defending on the inside. He's kept it somewhat in the middle of the track, but Oshan not very close enough to make that move. Probably did lose some time on that straight. I'm not sure if he has any damage. Doesn't look like he has any damage, but yeah, for now that is the scenario. And Saurabh Bandyopadhyay was starting to get closer to Advait Deoda. He was within 1.9 seconds. And was there contact between Oshan and Chetan? I'm not too sure, but let's have a look at that replay and let's go on board. Yeah, it looks like he did have contact from Oshan. So if we just go on board with Oshan, we'll have a better idea as to what happened. And yes, there we go. There was contact from Oshan. He did go into the back of Chetan Surineni. But now let's head back to the live footage, and we can see the gaps starting to increase now. And Saurabh Bandyopadhyay's gap to Advait Deoda is fairly close. So let's pull out this new thing that we have here. If I can just find the correct buttons, there we go. So that is the gap between Sasang and Advait Deoda, but we want to see what's going on between Advait Deoda and Saurabh Bandyopadhyay. So there you go. So you can see the speed of each and every driver over there. You can the middle there is the interval or the time difference between the two drivers. As you guys can see right now, it is increasing a bit, but that gap has been fluctuating quite a bit. And if it comes down pretty close eventually, with either of the drivers making a mistake, that could go a bit up and down. But and also in the grey part, you can see is their lap times, their fastest lap times, and that is something that definitely would make a difference. So you guys can now see that the fastest lap time between these two drivers is with Saurabh Bandyopadhyay, but he doesn't seem to be very consistent at that lap time, and definitely something that would interest Saurabh Bandyopadhyay is that one extra point in this race that he would be receiving. But between these two drivers is not the answer to that question, is it? So we have to look at the whole picture, which means that Sai Sanjay is currently holding the fastest lap of the race with a 1 minute 54.084. So you can just see how much more pace he is having over these two drivers in this season, and he has been showing some absolutely strong performances. I'm not too sure on how much practice he's doing on his own, but it's clearly showing us the results, and definitely showing some very strong performances. But now again, the gap between Advait Deoda and Sai Sanjay has increased, and so has the gap between Advait Deoda and Saurabh Bandyopadhyay. It was down to 2.6, which has now gone back up to 2.8. So neither of the drivers being very clean. And Advait Deoda on the previous lap did set a 1 minute 54.1 and Saurabh Bandapade did do a 1 minute 54.0, sorry, 565. And I believe Aditya started to make a few mistakes because he all of a sudden lost around a second to Sai Sanjay, and Saurabh Bandapade has like just brought himself that much more closer almost. And again, although the other not able to maintain similar pace as to what his fastest lap is, and it's something that definitely as a driver you would want to do, and definitely something that should be looked into. But then again, you guys can just see that the gaps are increasing slightly again, and it's a bit more constant at this point of time, I would like to say. But yeah, there is Chetan Kurada, who I believe has left the session because he is not in the pit stop. Now he is in this. I believe he has left the session. But anyway, Vikash Anand is in the pits for the second time, and Shana Limousine is also, I believe, out of the session, if I'm not wrong. And definitely something that could make a difference if I just bring out my user interface. Yeah, there you go. You see Chetan Kurada has left the session. So Sean Ali Mohsin still in the session. Yes, as my time machine just confirmed, he is back on track. And in the previous lap, but though between these two drivers, Aditya that did do a 1 minute 54.7, and Saurabh Bandapade did a 1 minute 55.0. So if one goes quicker, the other one does go quicker, and if the other one doesn't, if the other one goes slower, then the other follows. So this is turning out to be a battle against time between these two drivers, and it's definitely something that they would want to improve going into the next race. So we're on lap number 6 out of 13. We have fairly decent gaps between these drivers. There is Oshan Kothari and Chetan Surineni still a bit close to each other, and also Vishwas Vijayaraj in the mix, and Vishwas is going a bit quicker than the rest of these drivers. So if we have a look at Vishwas Vijayaraj, who is blinking a bit, Chetan Surineni is in the pits, I believe. So I believe one of the drivers went in the pits. Oh no, never mind. Chetan Surineni is on track. But Vishwas Vijayaraj has lost again a lot of time to Chetan. I don't know what happened there, and something that could again be looked into. Chetan Surineni right now is behind Oshan Kothari and is losing time to him, and we don't see either of them closing in anytime soon. Shana Limousine is in the pits again, I believe. If I just point out to him, yeah, he is again in the pits, and so is Vikash Anand again in the pits. I'm not too sure what's going on with their race, but if you look at the incident points, neither of the top 3 drivers have picked up on any sort of incident points, and neither of the other drivers have picked up any penalties. So that is something that they will have to look into later on in this race, and definitely something that could make a difference at the end of the season, because we do have 5 points given to the driver with the highest championship, with the least incident points, and right now Sai Sanjay and Aditya are in the lead with 4.8 seconds between them, and Saurabh Bandapade a further 4.2 seconds behind Aditya. So definitely something that our drivers would like to assess and make sure is going right. But now with 6 laps to go, including this one, 6 laps to go from the next lap onwards, I believe. We should be getting some sort of action hopefully by the end of this race, if either of these drivers manage to slow down enough to get the other reeled in. But all 3 are on the same straight, at least for some time, which is a good sign, of course. Advaita had to make that move in the first few laps to be able to hold off Sanjay. That's probably where Advaita could have lost this race, but definitely he did give his go. Sebring again, like I said before, is very bumpy and can be hard on the drivers. So definitely something that could have been a factor as to why this has happened, and this should be something that we will look into, that they should look into, in fact, for the next race onwards. As you guys can see, the gas between Aditya and Saurabh just a moment ago, pretty much exactly the same at 5.116, and it has just gone up and down a little bit as Aditya makes a mistake. But looking at their previous lap times, oh wait, Aditya just made a mistake. Has Aditya made a mistake? He has made a mistake which should allow Saurabh to start closing in, and has that hit Aditya's confidence even the slight bit. The gaps between them have dropped by about 2 seconds up and down on both these drivers. So if Aditya holds his pace now, he should be fine. But if he falls back into the pressure, he is gonna be having some sort of trouble. And from Saurabh Bandapade, who is only 2.2 seconds behind him, and is trying to maintain that gap as much as possible. I would love to see the lap time between Advaita and Saurabh Bandapade on this lap, and hopefully see Saurabh Bandapade close in on Advaita. Right now, Saurabh Bandapade has to focus on trying to get as close to him, close enough up to around 1 second, and he should be trying to get some sort of slipstream that would help him throughout the straights, through these long straights on this track. And the previous lap between the two drivers was a 1 minute 57.7 for Advaita and a 1 minute 55.101 for Saurabh Bandapade, and is now starting to close in a bit. It has come down to 1.9 seconds, so I believe this is a good time for this between two drivers that are going to be fighting for potentially P2, and hopefully they do get closer and make some point of this graphic here, and definitely would love to see what comes in the next couple of laps. Saurabh Bandapade is definitely looking strong at this point of time. Yes, he is closing in. Advaita just struggling a bit and fallen under the pressure, and this is the corner where Advaita did go wide on the previous lap, manages to take it cleanly, but now but he took it extra cautious compared to last time, and just look the amount of time he has lost to Saurabh Bandapade. But with taking that cautious entry does get him a little bit of a better exit as he gained time on the straight, and he did on this corner as well. Definitely a little bit of confidence loss is expected after making a mistake, so that you don't push to that limit again and make the same mistake. But you can see that he has already started to gain that confidence back and is already starting to pull away again from Saurabh Bandapade, unless Saurabh Bandapade has been making mistakes, but now he has stopped it again. Has Saurabh Bandapade. This is a good graphic. I really like this now, and he is dropped down to 1.666. The only thing probably could have been improved on this graphic is the color of the text, which would help us read it a bit better. But for now, he is 1.7 seconds behind, a few more tenths on this lap, and he should be in slipstream range, and he should start getting some slipstream. But we hear a slow car. Is that Sai Sanjay? I wonder. No, sorry, my bad. That was Chetan Surineni by the looks of it. But now this is another factor. And hold on, did you guys just realize that Saurabh Bandapade gained 6 tenths through one corner where Aditya made a mistake? So it just shows how important it is to not make a mistake on a track like this. The previous laps, Saurabh Bandapade was a 1 minute 54.535, which was his new fastest lap. You can see him gain that confidence, and so Adwaita was 1 minute 54.9196. But this is going to be a good ending battle for this race, as these drivers come only 7 tenths. Chetan Srineni doing a brilliant job getting out of the way, and Saurabh Bandyopadhyay would just give him that much bit more of an excellence, because he did not give Adwaita any sort of slipstream which allows him to pull away. But Adwaita is slightly stronger in that section, as you see. He is pulling away a little bit, but again, like I said, if Saurabh Bandyopadhyay did get somewhere around 1 second of Adwaita, he should start getting a little bit of slipstream. And this is the corner where Saurabh Bandyopadhyay is a little stronger, but no, Saurabh Bandyopadhyay has made a mistake and he has got off track, and it has come out to be yet another anticlimactic race for us. And Chetan Surineni, I wonder if he's trying to make a move on Saurabh Bandyopadhyay. If I was Chetan, I would probably stay out of it, as he spins across. If that would have taken Saurabh Bandyopadhyay out, me in place of Saurabh Bandyopadhyay would have been furious. And with now just 3 laps to go, as you can see at the top of your screens, we have witnessed yet another anticlimactic race in the Bespoke Racing League, and I don't think that is anything new for us, and definitely something that has to be looked into, and we have to try to tell the drivers to make it more interesting for us if they can. Definitely we don't want them to lose some of their hope and do it all for the show, but they really need to find some strong fighting chances. Saurabh Bandyopadhyay does again go off track. Now, coming to the incident points, the only driver with 0 incident points, or with no incident points, is probably the one you just guessed, that is Sai Sanjay, and he has been dominant this race. His best lap time is at 1 minute 53.4, and is now pacing himself at a lap time of 1 minute 55.1, with a 12-second gap that he has made, while Adwaita did not get involved in any incident unless occurred by his own mistake. That was his one single lockup, which stopped him from 5 seconds to 8.5 seconds. But still, even if you consider that 8.5 seconds to then be pulled out to almost 12 seconds, that is another 4.5 seconds. Or 3.5 seconds that he has pulled out. So in total, net total, Sai Sanjay, based truly on his pace, has gained 8.5 seconds over Adwaita, and that is not a small feat at all. But now, with only 2 laps to go, Saurabh Bandyopadhyay did close in a bit on the previous lap by around 3 tenths, and I don't think there will be any sort of fighting going on between these two drivers unless Adwaita manages to make a mistake on this lap, and then we can have a really good last lap to watch. But definitely for now, this is what we have, and this is what we have to deal with. So coming through the rest of the field, we do have Sai Sanjay, of course, in P1 with come on his 12th lap of the race, and Adwaita around 11.5 seconds behind him, with Saurabh Bandyopadhyay 3.5 seconds behind Adwaita. Oshan Kothadia is another 1 minute 3 seconds behind Saurabh Bandyopadhyay. Just shows the pace difference between the drivers at the top and the drivers pretty much not at the top. But we do have drivers like Kartik Tarani who haven't made it to this session. There was definitely Vignesh Katrabad, who did join us at round 1, who missed out on today's race, again, as he has some online classes to attend, and he will be back for tomorrow. So will Kartik Tarani. We do have Jeffrey Kruger, our first international driver, who will be joining us from round 3, as he himself has some things to attend to before he can start racing with us. But as I said, that we just witnessed Saurabh Bandyopadhyay make a major mistake that almost took him out of this race and probably gave Oshan Kothadia P3. But otherwise, we do have more drivers in line waiting for their own opportunities, but have been getting caught up in some incident or the other. which is preventing them to join this session. But now, as Sai Sanjay takes on the last lap, we shall continue going through the grid order or the finishing order, which is pretty much going to be this, unless some of the other guy makes some mistakes. So I think we'll just save that for a bit later and go on board with Saurabh Bandyopadhyay as he has just started his lap to take us around a lap around uh, Sebring National Raceway. And this has been a very good race that we have witnessed. Definitely could have had a lot more action throughout the race, and with Karthik Tharani joining us tomorrow, who did have a lot more pace in general previous season. I believe they were in. He was lapping a bit quicker than what these drivers are doing now. We should have some more strength field next time around. So definitely Sai Sanjay will not get a chance to slack off like he has done for majority of this race, as he had pulled away with a very nice gap to Adwadyoda in P2, and with the mistake Adwadyoda made, he could probably just stretch his feet between these between two corners on these long straights of Sebring. And we can just see that how bumpy this track is and how flowy this track is. A mistake into one corner could lead a loss of total lap time. So you can just see on how important it is to make sure that you are completing a clean lap. And Sai Sanjay has crossed the line in P1. Congratulations to him, as Adwadyoda comes around Sunset Corner to finish his lap. And coming across the line he is now, and Saurabh Bandyopadhyay now coming around Sunset Corner to finish in P3, with Oshan Kothadia in the middle sequence of corners here at Sebring in P4. Is now coming across the line to finish the race, and he did have a few incidents that he got caught up into the first few laps, and that was definitely something for the stewards to see if these drivers have reported an incident. If there was a bit more mayhem in the session at the first few corners, then there would definitely be a safety car, but we did see at least 6 cars come by cleanly, so safety car was not an absolute must. But Oshan Kothadia, I believe, is the last car on track to finish, or is that, I believe, no, I believe it's it's going to be Vishwas Vajraj who is going to be the last car to finish on track, as Oshan Kothadia now crosses the line. So now we can witness Vishwas Vajraj, who is coming on the back straight right now to finish his laps, and we will be looking at the race results once Vishwas Vajraj has crossed the line, and we will be looking at a few of these drivers next round as well. And we now have Vishwas Vajraj on the main straight crossing the line. So there we have it, guys. We have just finished the Sebring race, and the results are now on your screen. With Sai Sanjay, after 13 laps of an amazing race we've had, he has now finished in P1, with Adwadyoda in P2 with a 13-second gap to Sai Sanjay. Brilliant drive by Sai Sanjay to be able to make that gap. Now looking at these results, definitely we can expect the fastest lap to be with Sai Sanjay, as expected, after that phenomenal drive that he's just had, with Saurabh Bandyopadhyay now in P3 with a 6-second gap to Adwadyoda. And Oshan Kothadia, I believe, did also pit. Yes, all the drivers after Saurabh Bandyopadhyay were in the pits, which does explain these big gaps between between these drivers. And definitely we can expect a better comeback from these drivers next time around. And Chetan Kurada was, I think, the worst out of all these drivers to miss out on almost every lap except for one. And really hope that he can also come back very strong next time around. And other than that, I think I'm done here, and I'll leave you guys with the results.